Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Kurali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada.
Police arrest 18-year-old woman who allegedly stole Porsche and ran over its owner. Toronto District School Board reviewing field trip policy after students end up at protest. Parents of Ontario, teens sue alleged poison salesman Kenneth Law. Gardiner closure, TTC disruptions. Here is a look at this weekend's traffic and transit disruptions. 15-year-old, 19-year-old suspects arrested in connection with armed bank robbery in Toronto. Teen seriously injured in Scarborough stabbing, police. NDP asks competition watchdog to investigate potential rent fixing by landlords.
Those were the headlines, and let's jump right into the details.
Police have arrested an 18-year-old woman who allegedly stole a Porsche and then ran over its owner in an incident that was captured on video. The suspect turned themselves into authorities on Thursday, just one day after police released footage of the brazen incident. Police have previously said the suspect attended the victim's residence near Winston Churchill Boulevard and Eglinton Avenue in Mississauga on the afternoon of September 6th after responding to an Auto Trader advertisement for his 2022 Porsche Cayenne. In the footage, a young woman is seen knocking on the home's door and telling the victim that she is waiting for her father and is interested in taking a look at the Porsche. The video then cuts to the driveway where the suspect can be seen in the driver's seat of the Porsche. As the vehicle turns on and moves slightly, the victim tries to get inside before making his way to the rear of the vehicle. That's when the suspect floors it and reverses the vehicle onto the street, striking the victim. We published that video on Wednesday afternoon, and within 24 hours, it had been shared 95,000 times. So very quickly, that video reached millions of viewers, and folks then reshared it on social media, allowing that message to spread. We then received numerous tips from the public, which allowed us to identify the suspect very rapidly and effectively pressure her to surrender to police. Field Police Constable Tyler Bell told Awaz News on Friday afternoon. Bell described the theft of the Porsche as particularly brazen and noted that the victim would have been much more seriously injured if not for some luck and some physics. He said that the suspect taken into custody is linked to numerous investigations in Peel and is wanted by other GTA police services in connection with separate investigations. Sarah Batshaw, 18 of Brampton, is charged with 4 offences related to the theft of the Porsche, including theft of a motor vehicle and dangerous operation causing bodily harm. There's a saying in policing that I am sure we have all heard before: you can't outrun the chopper. But in Sarah's case, here you can outrun the share button. This was viewed so many times, it was shared so many times, and it led to an influx of tips coming in, Bell said. Police say that their investigation remains active, and the investigators anticipate additional arrests and charges. A field trip aimed at educating Toronto students about the plight of a Northern Ontario First Nation ended with them taking part in a protest where pro-Palestinian slogans were shouted. In a statement issued by the Toronto District School Board (TDSB), the board said an undisclosed number of students attended the Grassy Narrows River Run on Wednesday, a march organized to highlight the mercury contamination within the First Nation. The march was scheduled to begin at Grange Park near the Art Gallery of Ontario and end at Queen's Park. Although the TDSB said the event was intended as an educational experience, videos circulating on social media show some young students taking part in the march and repeating the slogan, "From Turtle Island to Palestine, occupation is a crime," after it was shouted by someone who appears to be a protest organizer. The board said that in general, students should not be participating in organized protests as part of the field trip and that the guidance would be shared within the school system. Education Minister Jill Dunlop has since weighed in on the incident, saying she was deeply disappointed by Wednesday's event. Meanwhile, the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs said the board should have foreseen the events that unfolded Wednesday and that any rational calculation would have led to the field trip's cancellation. The board did not say which school or schools participated in the field. The parents of a teenager who died after allegedly consuming the poisonous products of a Mississauga man are now suing him, as well as several doctors involved in her care. It's the first civil case launched against Kenneth Law, who is facing criminal charges of murder and abetting suicide in connection with 14 deaths across Ontario. Among those deaths is that of Yesenia Bedoya Lopez, whose parents allege in a notice of claim filed this month in Newmarket Courthouse that she obtained a suicide kit from Law and Company he operates online in August or September 2022. The plaintiffs plead the defendant Law operated this online store with the criminal intent of assisting, luring, and or enabling suicide to vulnerable individuals such as Yesenia, the suit says. In the suit, parents Leonardo Bedoya Ferrero and Maria Lopez Ocana claim damages totaling $2 million. The suit also claims that doctors at South Lake Hospital repeatedly discharged Yesenia Bedoya Lopez without proper psychiatric treatment. The claims have not been proven in court. Law remains in custody facing 14 counts of first-degree murder and 14 counts of aiding and abetting suicide relating to deadly products he allegedly sold on his website. Investigators previously said they believe Law sent more than 1,200 packages that may have contained instruments for suicide to as many as 40 countries. Police say that approximately 160 of those packages were sent to addresses in Canada. Law's lawyer has said he plans to plead not guilty and is not responsible for what people do with his products. A hearing in the criminal case is expected Friday. Getting around the city weekend will prove to be especially difficult for drivers as the city shutdowns the Gardiner Expressway for maintenance. Starting Friday at 11 p.m., the Gardiner will be closed until 10 a.m. on Sunday. The closure is to accommodate work for maintenance, cleaning, and the inspections, the city says. Sections of the Gardiner Expressway will reopen in phases as work is completed, the city said in a news release. Crews will also conduct repairs on the Dufferin Street Bridge over the Gardiner Expressway. The York on-ramp will also be closed until 5 a.m. on Monday as crews complete concrete and asphalt repairs. Yonge Street from 5:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on Saturday. Yonge Street will be closed between Shepherd Avenue West and the Comer Avenue for the RBC race for kids. Both the eastbound and westbound lanes of Queen Street will be closed at the York Street intersection until mid-October for the installation of overhead streetcar wiring. Once westbound lane will remain open. Toronto area transit riders can also expect some disruptions this weekend. On Saturday, there will be no subway service between St. Clair and York Mill stations to accommodate track work. Trains along Line 2 will not stop at Pape Station on Saturday and Sunday due to Ontario Line construction, the city said. But service is unaffected and the station will remain open. Shuttle buses will run to supplement service. Lawrence Station will be closed, but all other stations will remain open for loading Presto cards and connecting to surface routes. On Sunday, subway service between St. George and Broadview Station on Line 2 will start at 11 a.m. to allow crews to conduct beam replacement work on the Prince Edward Viaduct. With the exception of Bay and Sherbourne stations, all other subway stations will remain open. Service on the Barrie Line will be temporarily suspended on Saturday and Sunday for critical track work. 2 people have been arrested and a third suspect is still at large after an armed bank robbery in Toronto last month. Toronto police said it happened on August 26th at around 5 p.m. when two men and a youth walked into a bank in the area of Royal York Road and Renault Crescent, North Wigglington Avenue West. Police allege two suspects jumped the counter while a third stood at the door acting as a lookout. They add that the suspects allegedly threatened the victims with a hammer and demanded cash, and as soon as the money was handed to them, they took off to their vehicle. Officers said Peel Regional Police arrested the male youth on August 28 for an unrelated incident where he allegedly had a hammer and clothes used in an armed bank robbery. Weeks later, on September 10th, Toronto police went to the Peel Regional Courts and arrested the 15-year-old boy and charged him with robbery with an offensive weapon disguised with intent, weapons dangerous, and possession of property obtained by crime over $5,000. The charges have not been tested in court and his identity is protected under the provisions of the Youth Criminal Justice Act. Officers identified a second suspect who was already in custody for an undisclosed unrelated matter. On Thursday, police went to Maplehurst Correctional Facility to advise 19-year-old Ali Kanuro of his new charges. The charges, which include robbery with an offensive weapon, have not been tested in court. Officers continued to search for a third suspect but did not provide any details about him. Police asked anyone with the information to contact them at 416-808-7350 or Crime Stoppers anonymously. A teenage girl was seriously injured in a stabbing in Scarborough Friday afternoon. Police say it happened in the area of Corvette and Magnolia Avenues at approximately 12:50 p.m. Police said the victim sustained serious but non-life-threatening injuries and was rushed to the hospital. Schools in the area have been placed under a hold and secure order as a precaution, though it's unclear if the incident occurred on school grounds. Three suspects, all of whom are described as teenage girls, are being sought by police. The circumstances leading up to the stabbing are unclear. The NDP is asking the Competition Bureau to investigate whether Canadian landlords are using the same AI software that sparked an antitrust lawsuit in the United States. The U.S. Justice Department filed a lawsuit last month against real estate software company RealPage Inc., accusing it of an illegal scheme that allows landlords to coordinate to hike rental prices. The lawsuit filed alongside attorneys general in states including North Carolina and California alleges the company is violating antitrust laws through the algorithm that landlords use to get recommended rental prices for millions of apartments across the country. NDP MPs Alexander Bulletin and Brian Massey sent a letter to Commissioner Matthew Boswell asking the Bureau to launch a probe into whether Canadian landlords have used the same software YieldStar. Rents in Canada have skyrocketed over the last couple of years, adding to affordability concerns in the country. According to the latest report from Rentals.ca and Urbanation, average asking rents in August rose 3.3% from last year, the slowest annual pace in almost 3 years, to $2,107.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.